early 20s, I moved into my
Oh,
parents'
house.
rental. Oh, sorry. Is there a mistake? Well, I'll start again.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In my early 20s, I moved in my parents' townhouse rental. I was in my last year of university, and I think my parents wanted me to desperately leave their house, so they bought a townhouse rental property. As long as I had roommates who paid the rent, I could live there rent free. But I was in charge of all the maintenance, like cutting the grass, keeping the house clean, and fixing little issues. I felt confident in my abilities, and I was up for this new adventure and some privacy. Early one morning around 6 a.m. in the summer, I heard some knocking outside my bedroom wall. For context, this was a two-story townhouse end unit, so I found it very odd as there was nothing on the other side of my bedroom wall except for the great outdoors. The knocking went on for a while, and just as I couldn't take it anymore, I got out of bed, rushed downstairs, looked around my house, only to see a large woodpecker outside my wall, pecking nonstop. This was the noise I heard. I quickly yelled at the woodpecker to stop, but he ignored me and kept on pecking. I remember taking my slipper off and throwing it at the woodpecker. Unfortunately, I didn't have great aim, and my slipper sailed past the woodpecker's head and landed on the roof. Now I am without my slipper, and the woodpecker kept on pecking. Later on, I found out that this particular woodpecker is called the pleated woodpecker. It's the biggest woodpecker species in Alberta and the largest in North America. It's often described as crow size. It was huge. So this woodpecker had big bird energy and was not intimidated by me. Eventually, the woodpecker stopped pecking and I could get to sleep. Unfortunately, though, this became a daily event, happening every morning at around 6 a.m. I couldn't take it anymore, and I had to do something. I put plastic bags outside my window, hoping to scare it away, but that didn't work. My mom bought me a cap gun. I don't know if you know what that is, but it just makes a lot of noise. But that woodpecker didn't seem to mind the noise. I mean, he was already making lots of noise, so it didn't bother him. Nothing worked, and he kept coming back every morning. I eventually got so sleep deprived and desperate. I even had a coworker suggest that he would shoot the bird for me, but I had to pay him half now and half when the job was done, like a mob hit. I said no. I didn't want him to get in trouble as I think it's illegal to discharge a firearm in the city limits, and I'm sure he didn't have a gun license. So, with no hope in sight, I did some research and I found out what the natural predator of woodpeckers are. Can you guess what it is? Well, it's birds of prey, particularly owls. So with the help of my dad and the great people at Canadian Tire, I went and found a plastic owl with a motion sensor that made a hooting sound when anything came near it. My dad climbed the ladder, attached the owl to the outside of the wall of my townhouse, hoping that this would end my unwanted guest. The next day, that woodpecker came around again, and the owl's motion sensor went off and it flew away. Hooray! I could finally get some sleep again. For the next 2 days, everything was back to normal until the sensor started to malfunction. And instead of the sound of knocking on my wall at 6 a.m., all I could hear was the sound of an owl hooting all night long. I couldn't take it. In the end, the woodpecker won, and I should have just learned to live with my unwanted house guest. The end. True story, true story.